Welcome everybody to another edition of Hurry Up. I'm your host, Adam. Let's get into this. So the Giants lose another embarrassing loss to the Dallas Cowboys. Let's be real. It was absolutely atrocious. It was shitty. And quite frankly, I'm mad as a Giant fan of the performance. I understand why we're at this point, how we got to this point, and where we're going to go from this point. I get it. The losing. The Giants have been losing the last, 10 years. They've had a couple seasons in there winning. The laughing stock of the league. We're even worse off than the Jets. And I know someone mentioned Cleveland Browns worthy. I understand where they're going. We are now the butt of the jokes. The New York Giants are now the butt of every joke. And to describe yesterday's performance or Sunday's performance, that was a joke. A joke. On both offense and defense. Defense played hard for about, 2 quarters. Not even 2 quarters. 2 series. Once they got down 14-0, the doors came off. That was it. You stop them at the 1-yard line. You turn the ball over on downs. Why do you think Mike McCarthy went for it there? He knew. He knew exactly what he was dealing with. Our coach got out-coached. He knew exactly what he was dealing with. He was like, listen, they didn't throw it with Tommy DeVito. Let's put the pressure on them now. We don't care if we get this. We're going to win this game regardless. We're going to put them down here and see if they can drive. The Cowboys did their job, got us off the field, and by the way, went down and scored. Absolutely atrocious. The reason I knew this game was going to go take a turn for the worst is when Brian Daboll challenged a play that was already being reviewed. It was already being reviewed. There's some things I just can't stand. And it's like, I don't care if you make a bad call or you live and die by a 4th down call. That's what you got to do. It's your job. You make the tough decisions. I can criticize it and play armchair quarterback next after the game or after the play. But, if it works out, you're brilliant, right? It's a 2-way street that goes down. And, you can play it safe. That's fine. But the way the Giants were playing the first half of this game, it was, why are you doing this? Just let the kid rip. That's it. If he gets sacked, he gets sacked. Call your plays. If he doesn't know the plays, that's on him. That's on you guys to prepare him for the plays. Run what you got to run. At this point, you're trying to just evaluate and get the kid upright. Right now that Tommy DeVito is not probably a starter in this league. He probably ain't even a backup, but he's on your roster. If you don't think he's good enough to give you that chance to win, and you deem that you want to try to win, and you want to get some of these young guys in here, like a Jacob Eason, then put him in there. I don't think you should. I think you might as well go with the kid who's been here since July, who's played with some of these receivers. Whether or not you think it's bad to play rookie, that's what I would do. Say Tommy DeVito is our starter for the remainder of the year. Tyrod is our backup. We want to see what Tommy can do. We want to see how far he can take us and navigate this offense. Basically, open it up. Because once you tell people that, and once you tell people this is what we're trying to do, they'll understand what you're trying to do. What you're trying to do now is trying to save face of a bad season. This is how you smartly save face. You look at the fan base and you just say, look, we've had a crap year. Injuries, bad coaching decisions, whatever you want to do. But here's what we're going to do for the remainder of the years. We're going to see who wants to be here. That's what you want to see from the coach. You want the guy to stand up. We haven't had a coach stand up for us. Tom Coughlin did it. Jim Fossil did it. He did it in 2000 when his team was struggling. He said the chips story. Everybody knows the chips story. I'll push my chips to the center of the table. If you want in, get in. If you want out, get out. This team's going to the playoffs, right? I'm not saying Brian Daboll needs to do that. Tom Coughlin, he believed in it. He believed that he was the league. He changed his ways. He stood up and took accountability as a man to say, look, I will open it up. If I'm going to go out and get fired, I'm going to play loose and have fun. Won him a Super Bowl. Put him in the Hall of Fame. We haven't had a coach since then. A guy who can motivate men to play hard. Brian Daboll, I like that he's their friend. But you have to be the coach now, man. And I don't think his coaching has fallen off. You don't go from coach of the year to not knowing how to coach football. You do that because you make bad decisions, and I get it. Everyone does. His rookie year, he had bad decisions, but again, those were masked because you were winning. So things weren't glorified. The timeout thing was still there. The timeouts were still there. That in dumbness to call timeouts just because you have them or at odd opportune times in the game, that was still there. So there are still some similarities. What's not working right now is what you want to do. I know whatever they're trying to do, save face. And we're hoping that Brian Daboll can take this plane and basically give it the softest crash landing he can do without being a Joe Judge and completely ripping off. That's fine. But if you want my respect as a fan, just tell me like it is. Like, look, Tom DeVito is going to be our starter for the end of the year, period. We want to get a shot at what he can give us for going into next year to see if he's going to be one of the Giants, as we are doing with many players. It's evaluation time, and that's what we're going to do. All right? Next question. Boom. You've told people, hey, we're going to be evaluating. Hey, this is our starting quarterback. Hey, this is what we do. And not giving them a chance to win. They know that you know that the season's over. That's what you need to do, Brian Daboll. Get on that podium on Wednesday and say, look, we're going to try to win these games. We also want to evaluate the talent that's out there and make sure we get some of these young guys in here, get them playing experience as well. Boom. Now we know the tank is in. But at least the next 8 games, the Giant fan base knows what they're going to be looking at. Instead of trying to tell us, hey, man, we're going to win, and then go out there and give us that. And Giant fans are pretty smart. They're hip to it. We're not dumb. We know what's going on. But if you would lay out the plan, it's a less of a roller coaster ride for us. And so that's what I would say about Brian Daboll. This team stinks. I don't see many more wins, if any, coming. I know the Commanders lost a heartbreaker. I think they're going to beat us this week just because offensively we don't have a quarterback offensively. And then the Patriots, they're going to play tough as well for Bill Belichick. And those are where I see the wins coming. Maybe Green Bay, but everything else is kind of going to be a tough sledding, especially with a quarterback that is not that good. However, on the Dallas Cowboys side, real quick, Dak Prescott's playing his best football I have seen. I don't know what it was, but a few weeks ago, it just looked like the light bulb went on. It came on definitely against the Eagles. And they lost the Eagles and they beat the Rams. And they beat the Rams, lost the Eagles, and beat the Giants. This is where it came on. It just turned on for the Cowboys, right? And Dak has played pretty well the last 2 weeks. If he keeps playing like this, Cowboys are going to be dangerous. The Cowboys will be dangerous next year if he plays like this. Maybe he's fully healthy. Maybe he was more banged up than we thought last year. A lot of these guys don't disclose every injury that they have. Maybe that thumb injury that he had or hand injury that he had was a little bit more. Couldn't handle the pain. Maybe he couldn't see. I don't know. Maybe he was concussed. Who knows? But he is playing at an all-world level. He had 400 yards passing. And he was out in the third quarter. That man averaged 100 yards a quarter and didn't even play a fourth quarter. That is insane. 5 touchdowns. He had 5 touchdowns on the day. 5 touchdowns. 4 passing, 1 rushing. 400 yards total offense. We gave up 173 yards to Brandon Cooks, 150 yards to CeeDee Lamb, both touchdowns. CeeDee Lamb had 2 touchdowns, 1 rushing as well. It was an insane explosion for the Cowboys. And I don't expect them to fall off against the Panthers at all. And then the game against the Commanders, I think, will be a tough game. The Cowboys will probably win it, but it'll be tough because Sam Howell will keep that team in the game. But I still think the Cowboys win. And then we're looking at December 10th. Enormous football game. Absolutely, positively enormous football game. And if he keeps playing well, these next couple games are going to be a breeze. And then when they play in Dallas, oh my God. But the penalties is what kills this team and the red zone. Those are the two things. Actually, 3 things. 3 things that kill the Cowboys. Lack of red zone scoring, touchdowns. They're like 50% in the red zone. They're not very good at scoring touchdowns there. They've got to figure that out. I think it's because they don't run the football downhill and they don't do a lot of quarterback sneaks. If I'm the Cowboys, I would try to do a lot more of those, trying to incorporate Dak with a few more rushing touchdowns, kind of like what Jason Garrett did with him early on in his career, give him those rushing touchdowns inside. It'll be a threat. It allows you to do a lot more things. The other thing is, is penalties. The Cowboy team keeps giving up penalties, and that's what's going to kill them. That is what's going to be their downfall, is the undisciplined football. You got to keep your cool no matter what's happening. I understand you got knocked over. That one guy kicked the other guy. And I get what the guy is probably trying to do, is probably trying to like defend himself, like get off me, bro. Like I'm trying to get up. But still it's uncalled for. Penalties will hurt this team. And the last thing, they need to have a secondary running back. Tony Pollard is a better weapon than he is a better running back. When you can put him in the game, when you're doing, shotgun on 2nd and 5, you want to do a draw play or something like that, he can run the football. He can be your he can be your secondary back. They need to find a big back. I don't know if they're missing Zeke Elliott, but when the other back, 23, I forget what his name is right now, came in and started, Rasul Douglas, I think his name is. When he came in, or J.K., number 23, when he came in and he started running downhill, it changed the dynamic of the Cowboys. And it really made them, I think, more dangerous. And I think if I'm the Cowboys and I'm going back in film study and I want a rushing attack, I need to start this guy more on first downs and make my Pollard my third down and my second down, my third and long kind of back. Because Pollard doesn't do a great job blocking. He's a good open field player, and he's an explosive player. If I'm Mike McCarthy, that's why Kellen Moore utilized him correctly. Right now, Mike McCarthy doesn't feature backs. He features running in his offense. Look at his offenses in Green Bay. They had a running back. They ran downhill. They allowed the quarterback to ad-lib a little bit more. Here, they're going to need to find out what they're going to do, because if they found a tight end, right, that's going to help them. Because I think the tight end got involved this game too. And I also think, having a downhill running game will open the play action game and really open it up. And if he picks up the blitz 23 a little bit better, you might start to see a different role. And then instead of taking him off the field and saying, listen, you can't block, fine, we're going to put you on third down to a slant, get you in the open field, do it. Make him a third down back, like Marshall Faulk out of the backfield, or Alvin Kamara. But hey, this has been another edition of The Hurry Up. Hope you enjoyed that one. Gave you a little perspective on both Cowboys and Giants there. We're trying to change it up, not trying to be just one-sided, but look for me, do a few more videos as well. I also have a show on Wednesdays, 5:30 p.m. on YouTube. NFC East Real Deal Roundup. We go over everything NFC East. And then there's Premium Takes on Friday at 9:30. Great show with my 4 horsemen of YouTube, myself, Mac the Giant Fan, Zion Zenith, and of course our angel from heaven, Jeffy T. We run a show. We talk all things sports, NBA, UFC, wrestling, football. You better believe we're going to be getting into these games right now. But I hope you enjoyed this. I'm out.